Hey guys, so I wanted to make the video. It's a couple days early, but so I have some good news. I have a job interview tomorrow at a local grocery store, and if you watched my last video, you kind of saw that I had like an open interview there a couple days ago. Tomorrow I go in for an interview. I guess my first like scheduled interview that wasn't just completely random, but I'm hoping that things go well and that as of tomorrow I will be able to have a job, hopefully. So please be praying for that. And I'm gonna just go ahead and make the video for this week and post it tonight, so it'll be a couple days early. But I'm just so, I guess, overwhelmed, but in a good way. Just, the fact that literally 2 weeks ago when this year started, I didn't think I would have a job, or I didn't think I would be close to getting a job. Like 3 weeks into the new year, not even 3 weeks into the new year, only about 2 weeks into the new year. I didn't think that I would have a job opportunity coming up. I kind of figured that it might be a little bit, but, God kind of uses things for our good, I guess, and He just kind of surprises us at times, which is awesome, that when He does stuff like that. So, I wanted to talk about anxiety and fear this week. I was planning on doing the depression part, but I figure that since the anxiety and fear part of it really will go better with kind of what's going on in my life right now, I'm just deciding to do that this week, and I'll do the depression final part of the series next week. So I have a lot of I guess fears, or a lot of things make me anxious. Driving is one of those things. And we all have fears. Like, I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of, bugs and spiders and snakes and stuff like that. But I also have a lot of anxious things that make me anxious, like driving. And like going in for a job interview, because you don't know what kind of questions they're going to ask you. You don't know things that they're going to say, or anything that might come up during the interview, and you don't know what the outcome is going to be. I hope with my whole heart tomorrow that things are going to go well, and that they're going to move ahead with the hiring process and go ahead and do the background check and everything else. I hope with my whole heart that that happens tomorrow. But I also know that, if it doesn't happen that way and things don't go that way, then it was, just part of, the greater plan, I guess. And I don't want to say that bad things that happen are God's plan, because they're not. They're the work of Satan. But, I feel like that if I don't get this job tomorrow, that God just has something better in mind, and that He is going to, show that to me. Which, like I said, I'm hoping with my whole heart that this works out. Because it would be a really good job for me. And it's something that I've done in the past, being a cashier. So it's going to be easy for me. I already pretty much know what I'm doing. I just have to learn their computers and stuff like that, versus places I've worked in the past. I just have to learn all that, and then I will be good. And, it's exciting, and I know that, God definitely wants me to be excited, but my human nature has taken over, and I've been fearful. I've been anxious, and I've been fearful. Fearful that I'll say the wrong thing. Fearful that I'll make a fool of myself. Fearful that I won't get the job. Fearful of all kinds of things. But In the Bible, it says to not fear or be anxious 365 times. So basically, you could read one of those verses each day of the year, and you would never repeat the same verse. Unless it's leap year, and you'd have one. But, I think it's so cool that God did that, where, when the people were writing the Bible, He wanted it said, do not fear, or, don't be anxious 365 times, the same amount of days in a year. And so, that's something that I've been trying to keep in mind, is that, the Bible says not to fear, and, of course, it's really hard not to be fearful. And I know that because I've struggled with fear and anxiety most of my life, and especially the last few years. But I also know that God has freedom from that for me, and that's what I'm looking forward to this year. And I'm just really excited to see what God has, and I'm just, amazed at just the goodness of God, and just how much that, He loves us, and He doesn't want us to be fearful. He doesn't want us to be afraid of anything, because if God is for us, who can be against us, right? And so I've been just kind of looking up some verses as for fear. Say to those with fearful hearts, be strong, do not fear. Your God will come. He will come with vengeance, with divine retribution. He will come to save you. That's Isaiah 35:4. John 14:27 says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Joshua 1:9 says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And Matthew 6:34 says, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Those are just a few of the verses that are in the Bible that speak of fear. And this year, I really feel like that God is calling me out of that fear. He's trying to make me a brave person, a strong woman of God. I feel like that He's just expanding my knowledge and just taking me to new heights that I've never been before. And as most of you know, I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm just a 23-year-old girl who came to know Jesus a little bit over a year ago. A year and 2 days ago, to be exact. So, I don't know everything. I know that God has just amazing plans for my life, and I know that He has just completely changed my heart, the way that I view things within the past year, of being able to go to house group, being able to go to this church that I love, and I know that with me probably working, I probably won't be able to go to house group as much. And that sucks, because I love house group more than anything. But I also know that, I have to have money and work, which is what God wants me to do right now. He wants me to be able to work and stuff, so that way maybe one day I can have a good job, or a better job where I can really serve the Lord in what I'm doing and His purpose for me. Which, it's not saying that, He isn't using me for Him now, because He is, obviously. this whole job interview, it's because of Jesus, it's because of God. And it's just learning that, not everything happens in my time, but in God's. I definitely think that it was a miracle in God that I walked into the store on Sunday and the guy was standing right there handing out papers saying, if you need a job, fill or apply online. And my parents said that I needed a job badly, and he said, do you want to go interview for it? We're doing open interviews now if you want to go up and interview. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, that's great, because I haven't had a job interview since last February. And so it's been a year almost since I started my job at the daycare. And, it's been 6 months since I had a job last. And a lot of that was just because the enemy completely just took over my mind and made me feel like that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't, strong enough. And that I was afraid to work again because I was afraid to get fired. But God is pulling me out of that because He doesn't want me to be afraid. He doesn't want me to live in fear. He wants me to live for Him, use the job that He's given me to serve Him. Whether that be, telling somebody about Him or, just even being nice to people can really think, wow, there's something different about her, and I want to know what it is. And that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to see this new step of life and to see how God is going to just completely wreck my world. And, whether or not I'm able to go to house group, I don't know. I may not be able to go as much because I may be working. Although I'm only going to be working part-time, I don't know how many days a week I'm going to work, how much, 25 hours a week, but I don't know if they're going to work me 3 days for 8 hours or 5 days for 5 hours. I don't know. And, it's going to be a interesting time, I guess, to see, where God has me, where He puts me, what hours He gives me, I'm hoping with my whole heart that it would work out to where I can get Fridays off, but I don't know. I don't know how, the hours I'm going to work. I don't know anything. God knows, but I don't. But right now I have to worry about getting past this interview tomorrow before I can even think about those things. And I'm just grateful that God is slowly taking away the fear that's been in my heart. When I first got the call this afternoon or this evening that, they wanted me to come in for an interview tomorrow. And we did a little bit of a phone interview tonight as well. And, I was terrified that I messed up on the phone interview because of the fact that just I wasn't expecting it, and it was just out of nowhere. And, they were simple questions, but it's hard to think, when you didn't know you were going to be interviewed over the phone, and stuff like that. And it's, it's just amazing. Just at how God can, completely transform your life. And I'm excited to see, where He leads, if He has a job for me at this place, or if it's going to be somewhere else, or where it's going to be. But I am not going to live in fear over it. I am just going to try my best. I'm going to answer like I feel like I know best, and hopefully things will happen. And I'm just hoping that this works out and I'm there for a while and I don't have to leave or get fired over something stupid. And I would love if you guys would pray for me as well, just to be able to be wise in my decisions and just, not to rush into anything, and hopefully feel like that I can do well there, and my little bit of experience as a cashier will throw me to new heights, and maybe I can move up and do other things, and just not going to live in fear about it. I'm just going to trust God that He is just directing paths, and that He's making His will for my life come true. And yeah, that's what I'm trusting for God for right now. I'm just trusting Him, and I'm not afraid, because I know that He's got my best interest in mind, and I know that everything that's happened in the past was because of just I feel like that God wanted to put me somewhere else. It wasn't Him that got me fired, but I knew that God had a different plan, and I'm so glad that I found that different plan, and that I'm moving toward that, and that I'm able to just continue to make these videos for you guys, because I really love doing this, and I'm so thankful that I get to do this every week, and that I get to talk to you about things that are very apparent in my life, or whatever the case might be, because I know that if I struggle with this, there's other people that do too. And so I want to share with you guys that God is there, and that He loves you, and He thinks the world of you. I mean, He loves you so much that He sent His Son to die for you. So I love to make these videos and just kind of share my points of view on things, whether or not it's normal for a Christian to view it that way or not. I hear from God, and I know that He is directing my thoughts and my speech as I go through these. I try to make sense. I know sometimes it makes sense in my head, but it doesn't make sense when I say it, and sometimes I just wing these. Like today, I didn't prepare very much, because I've had so much going on in the past that the past couple of days, that I haven't really had time to prepare. But I also know the next couple of days are going to be crazy, because once I start working again, I'm going to be making videos on random days and posting them on Thursdays, hopefully. I just wanted to post this on a day or 2 days early, because I don't know what this week is going to hold, and I don't know how Thursday is going to be. So, with that being said, I thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and just how much it means to me, the fact that you guys take time out of your day to watch what I have to say, and so I'm extremely grateful for that. And just keep me in your prayers as I go through with this interview tomorrow, and I'm excited to see what God has for me. Bye guys.